everyone. I'm Vernee. I'm a serial entrepreneur, speaker, author, business coach, and brand strategist. And I'm the founder of Simply Slay Hard Every Day, where we help our clients achieve 10K months by creating a lead generation machine. So today's topic, Evergreen lead generation in your online business, is one that I love, and I'm excited to present that today. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and just dive right in. All right, so today I'm going to be sharing the importance of lead generation, the definition of a lead generation math, evergreen lead generation itself, evergreen content examples, and then we're going to touch on how to generate automated sales. So hopefully you guys are ready for the truth and the facts of the matter. Nobody out there is going out of their way to find you. People are not waking up thinking about your business. They are on social media, because most of us are advertising on social media. They're on social media for the social media experience, right? So they're not going out of their way to really find out about your business. But we have to think about, how do we get people interested in what we have to offer? How do we continuously attract new people that are our ideal clients and move them through the sales process in order to be able to become a client? We need a process to generate leads. We need to have a way to attract people towards us. Your business needs leads daily to survive. That's really the importance of lead generation. And the definition of lead generation is, or lead acquisition as it's sometimes called, is the process of attracting new customers and moving them through your sales process. If your business doesn't have a process for acquiring new leads consistently, eventually your revenue will stop and eventually your business will stop. So I like to level set and talk about what a lead actually is, because I think that there are a lot of definitions out there in the online space. But leads are people who have opted into hearing more from you and are now on a platform that you own. And I think that's critical, because a lot of times people are like, oh, I have, X number of followers or X number of subscribers, but we don't own social media. So it's really important that we focus on getting people into our customer relationship management system, or CRM. So really, new leads equal new emails, new phone numbers in your customer relationship management system or in your CRM. That is how you know that people are interested in what you have to offer and not just following you. So I like to tell people, social media followers do not count as leads. Unfortunately, they don't. They're followers until they've taken the next step and opted into something that you have to offer or purchase something from you. So we may feel that lead generation is challenging. And why is that? A couple reasons are the marketplace is really noisy, right? There's a lot of advertisement out there. People are getting bombarded with ads. People don't know who to listen to. Susie says X, Mark says Y, they both do the same thing. Who's right? So people really don't know who to trust. And then sometimes us as entrepreneurs, we don't know who our target market is or our niche. Therefore, our messaging becomes unclear. And then we just may not know how to generate leads. We're just confused on the process as a whole. So what if I told you that lead generation and sales was truly a game of numbers, right? So basically the magic is in the numbers in terms of how you generate leads and convert them into clients. So how many leads do we really need per month? So I have an engineering background and I do love math. I know everybody does not love math, but I want to do some simple math with you guys today. Hopefully that's okay. So if we think about the average closing percentage for new entrepreneurs, that's about 15%. And this is like an industry statistic. This is like for coaches and consultants, online service providers, folks who typically do business online and have like a service-based business. It's about 15%. If you do high ticket sales, it's about 10%. Now, of course, these percentages can be improved as I like to say, as you grow up in your business, as you get better in sales, you can most definitely improve these percentages for sure. But starting out, this is about where you're going to be. And then we can pretend here that we have a $5,000 offer. and that our offer already resonates with our target audience and niche. So that means that this offer has been tested within the market. So we've done our market research. We know that our target market wants this offer, and therefore we have a good chance of selling it. So if we look at these scenarios, scenario one, if you get 10 leads in your CRM per month and you book 5 appointments, that's going to be 0.75 clients. We can't have 0.75 clients, so that means that's $0 in revenue, right? But if we generate 25 new leads in our CRM and book 13 appointments, that's at least 1 client, right? If we round down. So that means we made $5,000 that month. Now, if we get 50 leads and we book 25 appointments, right, that's 3.75 or 3 clients, which means we made $15,000. So the moral of the story is the more qualified leads you generate, the greater your chances of booking clients. So how do we go from scenario 1 to scenario 3? We need to generate leads for our business, right? We generate more leads. So there are a variety of ways to generate leads in an online business. Content marketing, social media marketing, speaking, events, networking, media, PR. Not an exhaustive list, but definitely some of the most popular ones out there. Regardless of which of these strategies you use, whether you use one or all of them, you're going to need some type of a lead magnet in order to be able to generate leads. What's a lead magnet? A lead magnet is a marketing term for an item, a product or service that's given away for the purpose of collecting contact details. Basically, lead magnets are conversation starters. What types of things can be lead magnets? Ebooks, guides, courses, blogs, books, quizzes, checklists, podcast episodes, audio trainings, workbooks, and more. This is, again, not an exhaustive list, but just some of the things that you typically see as a lead magnet. Now, I like to work with my clients on developing what's called a high value lead magnet. So a high value lead magnet is a lead magnet that has significant value to your ideal audience because it speaks directly to a pain point they are experiencing and solves a small problem for them. So your lead magnet needs to be effective. You need to understand your target market and your niche in order for you to be able to generate or create a lead generation machine. So let's talk about target market really quickly. So your target market is a group of customers or clients that you identify to sell your product or service to. An example of this, or some people might say before working with me, their target market is women entrepreneurs. You can make this even more specific, right? What if it's women entrepreneurs in the first 1 to 3 years of their business? That's startup women entrepreneurs, right? We could maybe even make this more specific by saying, oh, it's startup women entrepreneurs in the financial industry or startup women entrepreneurs in the trucking industry, right? So we could be more specific. Then there's your niche. Your niche is a specialized segment of the market for you to sell your product or service to. So this is where you're going to really utilize your zone of genius and where you're going to be creating something that no one else can do quite like you, right? So an example of a niche. So let's think that we're in the health and wellness industry, right? Health and wellness industry is a huge industry, multi-billion-dollar industry. There's a lot of different things people can do, right? But if we say that our niche is nutrition and gut health, that gives our ideal client a better understanding of how we can help them, right? Your niche is basically like, what part of the marketplace am I trying to serve here? And so with this example, being in the space of providing a service on nutrition and gut health tells that person that that's what they want, right? Because health and wellness could also mean fitness classes. It could also mean holistic health. So there's a lot of different areas in which someone could be in the health and wellness industry. So let's talk about how to drive people to your lead magnet. And that we're going to focus on evergreen content, right? Because it's about evergreen lead generation. So producing evergreen content leads to evergreen lead generation and automated sales. So what does evergreen really even mean? In the digital space, evergreen means sustainable and lasting. So similar to evergreen trees that retain their leaves all season, evergreen content continues to be relevant long after the date it was published. Why produce evergreen content? Traffic to the content is going to increase over time. You're going to be increasing your brand's visibility. And having content that's always relevant to your target audience and niche will help position you as a reputable source, aka build brand authority. So potential clients searching for these topics will continuously associate your brand with the problem you solve, generating leads for your business. So examples of evergreen content formats that are that I guess suit evergreen content really well are how-tos, lists, top tips, videos, articles, blogs, podcasts. So making content in this format doesn't automatically make it evergreen, but this format works well with evergreen content creation. So keep that in mind. Examples of evergreen content by platform, with YouTube videos and YouTube shorts. Short form video is really hot right now, so creating YouTube shorts definitely where it's at. Pinterest is great for evergreen content. The average shelf life of a pen can range between about 4 to 9 months. So you think about posting something on a feed post on Facebook or Instagram, that's about 24 hours. Pinterest is more of like a long-term thing, 9 months. And also Pinterest is a search engine, not really social media. So when you think about Pinterest, think about Google and how people are searching for things. And so having a pen and have people repin your pen is definitely going to help you in terms of putting your evergreen content out there. LinkedIn articles would definitely serve as an evergreen form of content. Blogs, podcasts, Facebook. If you're going to use Facebook and Instagram, definitely the Reels feature or the video feature. But Reels for Instagram, of course. And the reason why I say this is because of the way that the Reels feature functions on both platforms. So Reels are pushed to users days and weeks after posting. So regular videos and feed posts, once you post it after a few hours, it's kind of like it's gone, right? But Reels, actually, the algorithm pushes your content out to people over time, which actually serves as a form of evergreen content. So how does evergreen content generate leads? Basically, evergreen lead generating content has a few elements. So it solves an immediate problem for your target audience. It's quickly consumable, educational and thought provoking. It will be relevant for the foreseeable future, positions you as an industry authority, and it starts a conversation, which is really important when you're trying to build that know, like, and trust factor with your ideal clients. So let's look at an example of maybe an online service provider. So let's pretend this person is a social media manager and they focus on their niche is Instagram marketing and growth. So they could create an Instagram reel, they could create a video on how to make an Instagram reel. And it could be a 60-second video that's educational and thought provoking because it teaches their ideal clients how to use a feature on Instagram, right? It'll be relevant for the foreseeable future because Instagram has converted all their videos to reels. So, and it's also been said many times as a great way to get in front of new people. It positions you as an industry authority because you provided your audience with timely and valuable information. And then it starts a conversation because you can ask your audience if they've made a reel yet, what types of reels they have, what they're struggling with, and so on and so forth. Looking at an example for a coach, let's pretend this person is their target market are women in their late 20s and 40s looking to date or marriage. Their niche is relationships, dating, and marriage, right? So they could create like a guide for their audience, or they could create they could create a guide that talks about how to ask the right questions on the first date. So is this quickly consumable? They could come up with a list of questions accompanied by a video to explain in what context to ask these questions, right? It's educational and thought-provoking because it teaches women how to have an effective conversation on the first date to decide if they want a second. It'll be relevant for the foreseeable future because let's face it, first dates are always going to be awkward. It positions that person as the industry authority because they're providing timely and valuable information. And then it's a conversation starter because you can ask your audience if the questions helped, what other topics may have come up, and would they like more from you, right? And then lastly, let's look at a consultant example. Let's pretend this person, their target market is companies that need IT infrastructure, setup, monitoring. So their niche is tech systems, network security, help desk, right? And they create maybe an assessment, or they have questions around to see if their particular ideal clients, if their system or infrastructure is prone to like a data breach or a hack, like they can like assess themselves. So this solves an immediate problem for their target audience because it tells that particular company their IT systems need to be updated. It's quickly consumable because if they come up with questions or a quiz, that gives them their company a score, right, with the recommendation. Educational and thought provoking because usually companies are worried about their IT infrastructure, and you can give them some guidelines on what to look for. That could lead to a data breach or system failure. Will it be relevant? Companies that support employees with technology will always have need for IT in some capacity and to make sure their systems stay updated. And this positions you as an industry authority because you provide your audience with timely and valuable info, right? And then this also is a conversation starter because now you can gauge your audience's IT needs, what types of services will be more helpful that you can actually provide. So, what's next with all of this? So, after we have our lead magnet, we have our content, then we want to automate our sale, and we can do automated sales in 5 steps. So putting this all together, we create our lead magnet, we create and post evergreen content, we collect leads on a platform that we own, our CRM and in our email list. We automate emails to our list, and then we make an offer. So for those of you guys who have listened to my talk today, I do have a free gift for you all. It's the 4 figures with less than 1,000 followers course that I have. And if you just take a picture of the QR code, you guys will get that for free from me. Hopefully this talk was helpful. Let me know. Feel free to connect with me as well. And the reason why this course is I love this course and I created it is because you don't need a huge following to make money on social media. You just need an audience that's interested in what you have to offer and that you can serve. So feel free to connect with me on social media, on Facebook at iSimplyShe, Instagram at I_simply_she, LinkedIn at Krystal Vernee, and you can always visit my website at www.isimplyShe.com. Thank you so much. I'm Krystal Vernee.